Welcome to Carl DeGregorio's desk session number 9. Um, this is the first one I'm actually sitting at my desk, kind of in the way, aligned with where I would. So actually, all my stuff is here. And let me mess with the light a little bit, get a little more light on the subject, which will shorten how good the light will last. Um, I guess I am on a come down from a very good week, meaning in the absence of external deadlines and in the absence of external uh, uh, calendar events, I am now doing this session out of the necessity to stay on task. Um, and I guess maybe the theme could be um, distraction versus productivity. Is this a productive use of my time, or is it just distracting me from doing actual things? And that's the scary thing, and sort of the quandary of being a 20th century person and a 21st century person. To me, it feels like social media is leisure, and what has happened is it's become uh, an industry, a marketplace. It has become um, a place to be the means and the ends. Goal setting toward uh, a career on the internet not is now not crazy. It's not even frowned upon, nor maybe should it have ever been. But my point being, I'm a 20th and 21st century person. So the way I see a lot of my process is toil. I've called my channel so far, we'll change it a million times, but I've called it the desk session, serious stuff at the desk. And then you find out you can actually write with a laptop on the couch. You can write in a coffee shop. You can write anywhere. You can write on your phone. I used to write on beverage napkins at my bar job. I wrote a whole play practically on napkins and typed them into the computer after I wrote scenes on slow nights. And so, really, what is the work? And I think the work is showing up. And as I've pressed through this opening, feeling a little defeated, I have now said to myself in real time that this, in and of itself, is worth it to vlog, to get down my thoughts in a organized manner or disorganized manner, what have you, that sitting at the desk, figuratively, which is a desk session, wherever it may be. I may have to take it on the road to accomplish a desk session, right? That's the beauty and the freedom and the dream and the promise of the internet, is that we don't have to be tied to our desks. That being said, I love my desk. I think you should adorn your desk. I have these are those pencils I mentioned in another session. These are Blackwing pencils. These are, I think they make two types. I don't think they're number two. They're a different kind of lead. I don't know why, but these are an indulgence that I give myself. I have pictures. I have my desk sessions blackboard. I have my lucha libres. I have my switch. I have all the stuff I need in front of me at my desk. And if you told me one of my retail weaknesses, if I told you one of my retail weaknesses was going to Staples, to any office supply store, my favorite, on Zoom where you can do the virtual backdrop and you can drop in some kind of backdrop and people get funny and they put themselves on Mount Rushmore or in a stream or whatever. I put myself in these beautiful reading libraries or these warm leather couch dens where the desk and my sort of dream boarding has definitely a study and definitely an office and definitely the idea of the French doors, the what do they call those? The hideaway doors, the doors that slide into the wall and then slide together. I have that fantasy of a den for my thinking and my writing, and eventually where I would do the desk sessions in the future. So while you don't have to be tethered to the desk, and the mind is the freeing element of the journey you can take with your creativity, and that the internet is, you know, promises that we don't have to be tethered. And the pandemic with, people not having to go to the office, the tanking commercial real estate, we were rethinking things. And I have to figure that out as a 20th and 21st century man. And, and shade and color the future in a different way than I've ever thought possible. But that being said, I also think when you do have a place to put down your pencils and your pens, why not just for the sheer joy of your childhood school supply self, adorn it, decorate it, make it an inspirational space, in my opinion. But it's not as important as showing up, sitting at the desk, sitting at the couch, sitting at the coffee shop, sitting, you know it's takes a lot, because a lot of my formal training is just that. When I see people using their phone, sometimes even in acting class, I've seen people use their phone instead of printing sides. It drives me batshit, because I am taken out of it immediately when I see people using their phone. But there's notes on the phone, there is word processing on the phone. Why wouldn't you maybe read from the phone? It's just that old 20th century notion of, show up with a script, a paper, you know, get off the phone and all that, pull your pants up bullshit. So I'm aware of that and wondering where it's headed. But ultimately, unless you're just reading the thing and putting it on the shelf, text is literally just a delivery system for ideas. And you don't remember the book version of a play you saw. You remember the words and the actions and the things coming out of the live action. And so it's a collection of the mind. There is a script for even for every Marvel movie. There's in many cases, these damn things are 3 hours long. There's a very thick script that was the starting point for that flight of fancy, but we remember it. We don't even have a lot of physical media now. Again, that's a hard thing to get around your head. But at the same time, I was never financially solvent enough to collect. The idea of buying a DVD was, man, you really got to love that effing movie, because I've already seen the fucker. I already have cable. I've seen it a lot, and owning it sure is cool to have a library, but I read too much to also have to buy physical movies. So if you go to the movies and you have cable and now you have streamers, it's like, come on, man. I get it. I get you want to have tactile physical media for what, when the lights go out. And I do have some in storage, and I do miss culling through stacks to get records and asking the burnout behind the counter, yo, what's this one playing, or whatever. Um, I loved killing time in a record store. I loved killing time in a bookstore. But I have made the transition to the Kindle because I don't like being without a title to read. And sometimes you can't get to a store. Anyway, the lights went out, but the camera still runs. I think I've done enough rambling for the day, and I really appreciate um, all my blessings and the chance to do these things. So we'll get back to you. This is Death Session 9, Carl DeGregorio. Thanks.